Are you angry?
Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm totally mad. There's no reason for it. This is absolute stupidity. This is a man-made crisis caused by Donald Trump, period.
Trump says, be patient. The farmers are going to be better than ever. Well, you better hurry up.
This is the first time in my life farming that I still have crop in my bins that I can't sell. Basically, what we're getting out, a bushel of corn or a bushel of rice, would be like you making $5 an hour and trying to pay your bills at home. Mexico and China are the two biggest rice buyers for the United. They buy more rice off of us than anyone, and when they stop buying rice, we have nowhere to go with the rice. It won't be a trickle down effect. It will be like flushing a toilet if the ag industry collapses. Totally 100% dependent upon the Lord Jesus Christ. I surrender it to Him.
Gas is up, diesel is up.
It's all coming down as soon as the war's over.
Well, 70% of farmers say they can't afford fertilizer. What's your message?
The farmers are doing very well.
Let me ask you, what is your message to farmers, many who support you, but who say they're struggling? Who say they're struggling?
Because there's nobody been better to farm.
He is not helping the farmer. I mean, we farm about 3,500 acres. We are going to be so far in the red.
We've got a real disaster with this tariff deal. I mean, for the first time in 20 years, China's bought 0 soybeans and 0 new crop corn out of this country, from 12 billion to 0.
When are you going to stand up for us instead of kissing his ass for these trade deals?
Y'all notice all these cattle ranchers up in arms today? They are suddenly mad because the beef market has dropped since Trump is talking about some Argentinian beef. Oh, now they're upset. Now they want to talk about save the American farmer, right? See, this is what happens when racism runs the economy instead of logic. They voted for a man who sold them a fantasy that their white skin was going to be economic policy, and that somehow legislating harm and voting for harm towards black, brown, and immigrant communities was going to bring back the good old days, right? When America was great. But here's the gag. Capitalism don't love y'all either, boo-boo. See, Trump is not loyal to the American farmers like y'all thought he was. He is loyal to profit margins. What happened to all that? Oh, he's a businessman. He's a businessman. Y'all were excited about that. And if it's cheaper to import beef from Argentina than to pay y'all's fair rate in Texas, Kansas, Ohio, wherever, then baby, he's gonna sign and seal that deal and watch y'all's family farm fold like a cheap lawn chair at the county fair. See, they thought voting for Trump meant putting others back in their place. All they did was put themselves in a chokehold of their own making. Because hey, when you vote for oppression, baby, you don't get to choose who gets crushed first. That ain't how that works. See, that's what I mean when I say racism is expensive. It costs the worker, it costs the farmer, it costs the nation. See, they didn't realize they were sacrificing their own economy to feed their hatred. And now they're on here crying about losing markets, losing subsidies, losing land. And I can't even muster up a tear. Where was all this worry when it was our communities losing everything? So to all the Make America Great Again farmers, baby, welcome to the America you built. The America you voted for. America where greed don't know color and baby loyalty don't pay. Cause Trump ain't y'all savior, baby. He's your landlord. Oh.
MAGA farmers voted against their own interest because of racism and hatred for others. They wanted other people to suffer, but they never thought it would come to affect them, But policies don't care who you voted for. When policies are implemented, they affect everybody. So let's have a look. Please like and hype the video and let me know your thoughts in the comments, alright? Let's get into it.
U.S. farmers are starting to regret their vote for Trump. From beekeepers to soybean to hay producers, all of them are starting to say, I never thought that voting for Trump 3 times would result in me losing tens of thousands of dollars. A beekeeper out of North Carolina says, yeah, I proudly voted for Trump all 3 times. I flew flags for him and put signs for him in the yard. But now I'm out tens of thousands of dollars due to lost federal funding and tariffs, so I cannot export my products, my honey and my wax, to other countries like I could before, and nobody's buying it in the United States. Hay producers in Idaho and Utah that export alfalfa hay to China are now seeing 135% tariffs put on their product, and all of a sudden, they don't have anywhere to ship it. They held it all winter in hopes of sending it off to China in the spring, and now China's not willing to buy. Soybean producers are once again being hit harder than they were in the first Trump administration, and China, for its part, has diversified where it pulls these products from, with Brazil becoming the #1 soybean exporter and other countries picking up the slack for honey, for beeswax, and for hay around the world. Now, China's doing a great job diversifying, and the United States has relied on exports to China for so long that its farmers are going to just continue to suffer. Once again, the majority of them voted for Trump, and now they're finding out.
Jim is a Republican who voted for Donald Trump 3 times.
How do you feel about your vote for Donald Trump now?
Well, I feel like perhaps I should have considered some other options.
Among other things, Jim imports packaging supplies for his honey, so he's paying real close attention to the tariffs Trump just put in place.
We just bought our year's supply of bottles from Taiwan and our year's supply of corks from Portugal about 3 weeks ago. So that would have been, another $5,000 or $6,000 out of my pocket.
Which is partly why he's repairing instead of replacing this 40-year-old forklift.
The cost of equipment has just gone through the roof to buy anything like that because it just would be cost prohibitive.
He's also holding off on improvements around the farm.
Well, we're not going to hire any more people, that's for sure.
It's more than just the tariffs. For the past 2 years, Jim has been selling honey to the federal government, which then provides it to schools and food banks. But after Donald Trump took office, the USDA cut those programs suddenly as part of the federal government's effort to streamline spending.
For a lot of other local farmers around here, it was a major source of reliable revenue. For me, it's going to cost me around $150,000 a year.
$150,000?
Yeah, roughly 50% of my revenue.
That's a huge hit.
That's a massive hit.
It's about $250,000 to $300,000 worth of revenue. Just
left to right.
Yeah, which is one thing, but it's also lost revenue for the workers that would have been able to pick them had they been here.
Oregon farmer Ian Chandler says about half his usual crew didn't show up this season, leaving him scrambling to backfill dozens of positions.
You're calling them, I assume, individually and saying, what's going on?
Yes. And so
what are they telling you?
Well, in the beginning of the season, it coincided, unfortunately, with a lot of really strong immigration enforcement down in Southern California, where our workforce comes from. And that kind of had a chilling effect on people wanting to move.
While Ian says his workers are hired with what seemed to be a valid ID and work papers, fear of ICE raids kept many of them from traveling north this year.
All right, where are all my Americans who've been saying immigrants are stealing our jobs? Well, guess what? Now's your big moment. The jobs are open, folks, wide open. We need people in the fields to pick fruit, harvest vegetables, and keep our food supply moving. This is no joke. Farmers across the country are looking for hardworking people to step up. Long hours, the hot sun beating down on you, and good old-fashioned hard work. You said you wanted these jobs, right? Well, here they are. No one's in your way now.
The tariffs pass down to the consumer.
So if you have to go buy a new sprayer, like the one behind you.
Anything that comes from China that's on that sprayer, there's a tariff, and they're just going to pass it directly to us.
Daniels and Carmack have had to take on second and third jobs, not just selling T-shirts, but driving trucks and repairing boats when they are not in their fields.
4 blood pressure pills a day, 3 different medicines. 2 years ago, none.
What do you think about when you go to bed at night?
What's going to be left in a year, 2 years? Am I the one that broke what started in the late 1800s?
What, you want me to have sympathy for farmers? You want me to feel bad? You want me to say, hey, that's anti-American. You can't want them to fail. I don't care. I want them to get exactly what they voted for. So if they fail, let it happen already. Because you know what I'm tired of? Let me tell you what I'm really sick and tired of. I am sick and tired of Democrat presidents getting into office, fixing stuff, and then we go, let's try a Republican again. And Republicans burn it all to the ground. Maybe you're not old enough to remember, but the Clinton years were spectacular. They were so amazing. Anybody alive will tell you, oh my God, the Clinton years were unbelievably good. But you know what the country did? Yeah, they put a Republican. They didn't put his vice president in office. They put in some complete moron. And that's what Republicans do time and time again. They put in complete idiots that wreck everything. And we know this because we see it again and again and again. So now we sit here. We told everybody. By the way, this guy Trump was horrible for farmers last time. Don't do it. What did they do? They went and voted for him. So now you want me to have sympathy? No, absolutely none. Zero. You're going to lose your farms? Okay, that's what you voted for. This at some point needs to stop. At some point, it needs to just burn to the ground again. And maybe this time you'll learn a lesson, because it's going to all go to the ground. Donald Trump has no clue what he's doing. He has people in positions. They have no idea what's going on. That's a fact. So what do you think's going to happen? Everything's going to go to hell. And guess what? We're going to bring in a Democrat to fix everything. And I promise you, in a few years, we're going to put a Republican right back in behind them, and they're going to burn it all to the ground again. Because we've been doing this since Nixon. Yes, we've been doing it for 50 years. And tell me, why would we change now?
So let me get this straight. In Mississippi, farmers are about to let food rot. And not because nobody's hungry, but because nobody wants to buy from America anymore. So down in the Mississippi Delta, they're talking about letting rice crops rot. And not because the soil gave up. It's because there's nowhere to sell this stuff. Why? I know you're not asking why. Because America picked a trade war, slapped tariffs on everything breathing, and then acted shocked when China said, okay, cool, we'll just shop somewhere else. It's like throwing a party, but insulting every guest at the door. And then standing in an empty living room and ask why nobody showed up. And now those same farmers that had their hands out for our taxpayer dollars are just going, we'll just let those crops rot. Rice, food, they're just going to let it rot. And here's the part nobody wants to say. The squeeze on family farms did not happen by accident. This is the long game. Family farms are going to get choked out until Big Ag can swoop in and buy up your family farm. They're going to cash the government checks, and then they're going to call it efficiency. That's not farming. That is foreclosure with overalls on. I just thought that American farmers were going to pull themselves up by their bootstraps because that's what they had been talking about the whole time.
There are a lot of people who are very concerned out there who voted for this administration. But, you know, they wrote it all down in Project 2025. I guess we should have paid a little closer attention to what was in that. I read the agriculture section. I know it better than I probably should. But it was there. It was all in writing. We probably should have paid closer attention to it. I'll just say this. I think it's time for this administration to recognize who put them into office, and also to understand that these people are hurting, and this only adds to the hurt that they're already dealing with.
Who did you vote for president?
Mr. Trump.
Right?
Trump. Mr. Trump.
If the election were today, Frank, would you vote for Donald Trump?
No way. Couldn't happen. No.
You voted for President Trump. So now, in this moment, you say you're in a free fall. What is your message to him?
So I'm off the Trump train. Where I'm going for now is I got to protect my business.
Highland, a wheat farmer who says he's lost $400,000 since Trump took office.
I think there was a lot of people who voted for him that want to stay loyal to him, but it's going to get to the point where financially, if it's between supporting the president or losing your family farm.
You voted for the president?
Yes, I did.
And do you support these policies which might be hurting farmers like you?
Right now, we're the ones that are taking the hit.
And he's sort of backstabbing the main people who got him into office in the Midwest, and he just left us down.
Hey everybody, Governor Walz here. I'm out at Mary and Danny Lundell's farm. They've been on this land for 159 years. 6 generations are buried right over the hill. We're out here today to talk about the just insanity of these tariffs. Trade deal that we negotiated with our friends in Canada and Mexico that Donald Trump himself signed and is now putting on this chaos into here. The impact across Minnesota and farms just like the Lundells here be dramatic and for nothing. So what I would just say is that we need to be good friends with our neighbors. Our farmers out here in Minnesota feed, fuel, and clothe the world. We innovate. We created the Green Revolution. We don't need Donald Trump and his nonsense interfering with our ability to make sure that these communities stay strong. So take these tariffs off, Donald Trump, and know that the folks out here are not standing with you on it.
I don't care if you lose your farm. I don't give a shit. This is what you voted for. This is exactly what you voted for. He campaigned on tariffs. He said he was going to do this. I'm supposed to feel bad now? I'm dealing with my own shit, my own consequences to your vote. So yeah, I don't give a fuck about your farm.
The problem with many MAGA voters, they made their decisions based on emotions, cultural identity, or even revenge. But they forgot that policies have real consequences, Policies that are designed to hurt other people, they will eventually reach you. They supported mass deportation without thinking about their livelihood. They never thought who is going to plant, harvest, or even maintain the crops, And the truth is that agriculture in America has always depended on immigrant labor, but they never thought about that, because they were motivated by the desire to hurt other people. They also cheered the tariffs because they were told that tariffs would punish China, but they only ended up getting impacted the most. The truth is that the economy does not operate on revenge. Inflation does not check your political party, Tariffs don't care who you voted for. The consequences arrive without discrimination. And this is why critical thinking do matter a lot. Before you support certain policies, you should actually read and understand how will this actually affect me, who pays the cost and what are the possible consequences, because racism, hatred, and even division does not help anybody, because the economy is connected. If the farmers struggle, the food prices and supply chains will be affected. If the consumers struggle, the farmers will lose their customers, If workers disappear, businesses and industries will feel the pressure, Everyone is connected. But let's hope next time people will make better decisions, They'll vote for policies that actually help people and not policies rooted in fear, anger, and even division. So thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Have a good one. I'll see you in the next video.